So today I'm going to show you one of my absolute favourite decks. I'll go more into win rates and matchups at the end, but over a decent sample size on the ranked ladder, this has a win rate of around 75% for me, so really good and definitely one of my strongest brews. It's a 5-colour enchantments deck built around this card, Spirit Sister's Call. So if you don't know it, it's a 5-mana enchantment which basically says at the end of each of your turns you may sacrifice a permanent. If you do, bring back a permanent of the same type from your graveyard to the battlefield. So for example, you sack an enchantment, you can grab an enchantment from your graveyard, return it to play. So to best make use of this, the deck's kind of split up into 2 sets of cards. We have the expensive enchantments and creatures like the Kami War and Etali, which are going to be our reanimation targets. And then we have cheaper enchantments and creatures like Spirited Companion, Bitter Reunion, or Weatherseed Treaty, which are going to be the things that we sacrifice. So the game plan is fairly simple. Early on, try and get stuff into our graveyard, for example, by using Bitter Reunion, which lets you discard a card, or Shadow Prophecy, which, assuming you have full domain, that lets you look at the top 5 cards of your library, put 2 in your hand and 3 into the graveyard. Then once we have some stuff in our graveyard, we then play Spirit Sister's Call, and that's where the fun begins. So because almost every creature and enchantment in our deck has an enter the battlefield effect, as soon as you reanimate something, you get this immediate value, and then you kind of don't need that thing anymore, so you can sacrifice it next turn to bring something else back. And once you sort of start this chain of sacrificing the things you don't need to bring back the things you do, it just generates so much value and it's so hard for the opponent to keep up with. So, for example, you need to remove something, you bring back a Binding or Kami War. If you need card draw, you can bring back a Companion or a Bitter Reunion. If you need ramp, you can bring back Weatherseed Treaty. It really is just very, very powerful once you have a decent amount of things in your graveyard and Spirit Sister's Call in play. The other super important card in the deck is Eternal Schemer, which is quite often how we're going to be closing out games. So Zur has a 2-mana ability, which basically lets you turn an enchantment of yours into a creature with power and toughness equal to its mana value. He also has a static ability saying enchantment creatures you control have Death Touch, Lifelink, and Hexproof. So you might have seen him comboing with Leyline Binding before, because if you have full domain, Binding will only cost 1 mana, but it still counts as a 6-mana enchantment. So once you use Zur's ability on it, it becomes a 6/6 with Death Touch, Lifelink, and Hexproof, which is quite often just too much for the opponent to handle. You can also, just hard cast Herd Migration once you get to 7 mana, maybe give them all haste with Bitter Reunion to swing for 15 damage out of nowhere. You might be like casting and reanimating Etalis to just be able to get a bunch of stuff into play for free and win that way. But basically, it's quite a slow deck, but if you can survive long enough to get Spirit Sister's Call down and start getting this value engine running, it's quite hard to lose from that point. So I play the deck in best of 3, so it has a sideboard. The sideboard is fairly straightforward. We have Duresses to deal with decks that have counter magic. We have Lithomantic Barrage to deal with Esper Legends and Soldiers, that kind of thing. Disdainful Stroke, great against the ramp deck. And then a bunch of stuff to help deal with aggro decks, like, Archangel of Wrath and Wandering Emperor with their life gain can help you stabilize, temporary lockdown, get rid of all of the little 1-2 mana critters. So that's great against like token decks. So that's the deck. Let's head to the ladder and play some games. Alright, on the plate with a 1-lander that we're going to have to mull. Okay, this is better. Let's get rid of, I think, well, let's keep both the bindings. The Herd Migration and Weatherseed Treaty can help us hit our land drops. Well, that being said, no, I think we have to get rid of 1 binding. Because getting to 5 lands is incredibly important with this deck, so that we can play the Spirit Sister's Call. So it looks like we might be against 5-colour ramp. I'm not sure which other decks play Spara's headquarters except for us. So we've already got the red source there. So I think we take another plains. Okay, and now we get a mountain so that we can Bitter Reunion next turn. Herd Migration? No? Okay. Wow, maybe it's actually just a Bant deck. Cool. Alright, we're playing against something interesting here. So and let's start off by Bitter Reunion, getting rid of one of these lands. We don't need another forest. Well, actually, we don't need another island either. Okay. Okay, so I guess next turn we can start beating down with the binding that we may well cast this turn. Okay, no plays from opponent. Is that because they're holding up counter magic? Let's see if we can get them to counter this. That would be... Okay, no. Weird. I mean, they're clearly holding something up. Okay, let's start off by attacking with this, see what happens. Still nothing. Okay, well let's see if the Zur resolves. Okay, they did have a counter spell. Alright. That's fine, makes it a bit more likely that our Etali will resolve next turn. We really need the Etali to resolve those. Pretty much the last card in our hand. Okay, they pass back again. Does not look good. Okay. Well, make them have it. They do. A second Dissipate, okay. Dissipate's really particularly bad against us because that means we can't even reanimate it later with Spirit Sister's Call. Okay. They're going to get to draw another card from the Aether Channeler. Okay. Howlback Piper. So do they have some big creature in their hand? Let's see if this resolve. It does. Okay, we can Herd Migration next turn and give them all haste with the Bitter Reunion. So I wonder what their target is for Howlback Piper. The deck feels quite control-y, so maybe something like a Hullbreaker Horror. Okay, well let's try and resolve this. Make them have it. Okay, Devious Cover-Up. Putting back the Dissipates in the deck. Let's see if they take the trade. They do, well, okay. Okay, they're going to Geist Wave it again. And it's night, so they whiff and they can't use it to... put another creature down because it will remain night because we only cast one spell. So I think we're happy just letting them have a vanilla 4/4 for at least a couple of turns. Titan, okay. Okay, well, I think let's get rid of the Titan. Hope they don't have another another Geist Wave. Okay, so this is pretty good. We don't have 2 black sources though, so we can only play one of them. There's nothing we want to reanimate yet, so maybe we go like this. Take the Zur and the Herd Migration. Then we can grab a Swamp. And play the Zur. Seems good. Okay, they've got another big creature in their hand. Reservoir Kraken, okay. No, we don't want to tap it because it's got Summoning Sickness anyway. Back to night. Okay. So I think we play the first one. But don't reanimate anything yet. Well, I guess we can get a land, right? We can probably improve on one of our lands. Sure, let's change the mountain into a proving ground. And we can change one of these into a big blocker if we need to. What can this do? This can return the binding to hand, meaning they get another Titan. Although if they do, we can animate it with Zur in response to give it hexproof, and then it will fizzle. So I think that's fine. Okay, Geist Wave. Alright, we just animate it again. Make that fizzle as well. Sure. Let's tap the Zur, tap their Kraken. They don't have any good attacks past the 6/6 binding. Kami War, that's a good draw. Okay. So at the moment they can kill us if they block, but if we can start actually applying some pressure here if we get rid of the Rhino token, turn this into a creature as well and attack with everything. They can triple block the Spirit Sister's Call if they really want, but I think we're fine with that. They need to block something though. Okay, they will triple block, that's fine, because we don't really have anything that we want to reanimate anyway. And they need something good off the top here, otherwise they're dead next turn. You're going to attack, okay. Okay. It's a pretty cool deck we're playing against. It's kind of like Bant, I don't know. Is it Bant? No, it's just green-blue. They don't actually have any white, do they? No, they have plains, so they must have some white. We didn't see any, though. It's just like Bant random pile of shit. I don't know. Counter spells. They've got plenty of counter spells. I don't know. I can't really see a particularly cohesive strategy here, but I guess we bring in the Duresses and some Disdainful Strokes. Get rid of one of the Depopulates, get rid of some of the spot removal. Just generally the big expensive things that are going to be hard to resolve against a deck with counter magic. And I guess we get rid of Zurza's, particularly helpful against decks that apply a lot of pressure on against your life total, because it helps you stabilize, you know, having a 6/6 life linker come out. Against this deck, I don't think we have to worry too much about that. Okay, hand is really good as long as we draw our third land. But we've got 3 goes to try and draw it, so great. Okay. We just have to hope that we can start resolving the Weatherseed treaties. They probably won't, considering the fact they're just holding up mana and not doing anything. They probably got some counter spells here that they're quite eager to start casting, so I think that's to be expected. Reservoir Kraken, okay. Okay. Well, I think we need to do this. Go get a black. And then next turn we can Shadow Prophecy. Although we are on a quite a short clock now with this. Although as soon as we've got the token we can tap it to tap this at the beginning of their combat every turn. So hopefully that should be the only time it attacks. Okay. Shadow Prophecy versus Duress. I think we have Shadow Prophecy. We have to start hitting these land drops. Okay. Do they have an answer for the token? They do. Okay. Okay. That's pretty scary, not gonna lie. Well, where's that Depopulate? That ain't gonna do it. Okay. Well, I guess we can survive one more turn by doing this. But okay, never mind. Good game. Alright, so they're just kind of like blue. We still don't know what the white's for. They're just like blue-green, counter your shit until I've got enough mana to resolve some big scary creature. I think that's their strategy. Bounce stuff, bounce your stuff, counter your stuff. Alright, well, when I was making this sideboard, I didn't really have this deck in mind. I think the Duresses is the best thing that we can, the best thing we've got against them. The Duresses and the Disdainful Stroke. Yeah, I think it's fine. Let's just run it back. Just have to do a bit better at drawing lands, I think. Okay, hand's fine, no white source yet, but the Weatherseed Treaty can fix that. Assuming it doesn't get countered. No blue either actually, but... Okay. Sure, that's pretty good. So we can grab a white, and then grab a blue with the Weatherseed Treaty if it doesn't get countered. Okay, they're 2-tap lands for them, so looks like... We haven't seen Spell Pierce yet, so looks like we should be able to resolve the Weatherseed Treaty. We do. Grab the island. Spirit Sister's Call doesn't do anything yet as we have nothing in the graveyard. So let's start with the companion. Hopefully draw something that we want to discard with the Bitter Reunion. Okay, we don't, but that's pretty good. Cool. Yep, that works. Helps fill our graveyard with hopefully some stuff that we want to reanimate. Might get countered, but if it does, then we can at least resolve the Spirit Sister's Call. Okay. That's good for us. So they are tapped out. Great, so Etali goes in the bin. We'll take the Duress. And the Herd Migration. Seems pretty good. Give this 6/6. I doubt they're going to block. So we can get this into the bin. Okay, Devious Cover-Up doesn't really help us much. I like our position a lot here. No, I think I'm fine with it being untapped. Wow, okay, now it's even better. We've got the Duress and the Disdainful Stroke. Okay, let's start off with the Duress. Let's take a look, see what they've got. Okay, Wandering Emperor. Do we care about that? It means we can't attack this turn because they just exile whatever we attack with. You know what? I think we're okay with them having that.
I'm home.
Okay. Alright, so... I think we get rid of the Geist Wave here, because if they spend their next turn memory deluging, then we probably win anyway. So I think let's make sure we hold up the mana for Disdainful Stroke. And I think just past them here. Sure, now we can bring the dog back for the token. Seems good to me.
Let your blade do the talking.
Another Duress. It's fine. So they drew a land. They're going to make that a 7/7.
Strike fast and strike hard.
Okay, no, don't want to tap it. Fine if they want to attack with that. Sure, I'll take 7. So now they need to decide whether to play another creature or play the Memory Deluge. Okay, they're passing. So I think we start animating our enchantments. If they want a Memory Deluge now in response, that's fine. Wasn't going to counter it anyway. Saving this counter for something that like really puts them back in the driver's seat, because as it stands I still like our position a lot here. Okay, I think we Duress. See what they drew. A counterspell, it's good to get out of their hand. Okay, so can we win this turn? They can block here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. I think we just win here, to be honest. Ah, no, we're 1 land short. Wait, 1, 4, 5, 12. 1 land short. Because we need to be able to play this, crack it, and use the Zur on the Spirited Companion to turn it into a 2/2. So just maybe if we hit an untapped land off this, that will be enough to give us the win. Shit. Okay. Alright, well, let's make sure that we kill the Wandering Emperor so they can't exile something next turn. And then just attack all here. They have to block something, because otherwise we're dealing exactly 14 damage. And then we just Disdainful Stroke whatever they play next turn and win the turn after. In case it wasn't clear, it's a bit confusing, but Zur's ability just turns a non-aura enchantment into a creature with power and toughness equal to its mana value. It doesn't actually say you have to do that on a non-creature, so you can actually use its ability on Spirited Companion to turn it from a 1/1 into a 2/2. So that's how we would have had lethal that turn. With the extra land. I mean, I don't think it matters here, but sure, let's bring back a Weatherseed Treaty. Grab a land. Pass back. If they go land Titan, we just Disdainful Stroke it. And I don't think that would have won them, stopped us winning next turn anyway, but they can try. Okay. So that should be a good game. And it is. Alright, cool. Always fun playing against those slightly weird, janky, interesting decks. But in this case it wasn't quite good enough. Okay, on the draw, with a pretty clunky hand to be honest. Bunch of white spells and no white lands. Okay, it's better, but it's still not good. Alright. Get rid of one of these lands. I guess the swamp. So we can go Proving Ground turn 1, Plains turn 2, and then have a Binding up. Looks like we might be up against Soldiers, so the Depopulate should come in handy here. Okay, they're going to pass back, so maybe holding up Resolute Reinforcements and a counterspell. Or Zephyr Sentinel. Okay, it's fine. Sure. Take 3. I guess they'll play the Yoshin frontliner. Okay. Decay's welcome. So I think we're pretty happy binding that to stop them drawing us, outdrawing us, and we can kill whatever creatures they play with the Depopulate anyway. So Bit Reunion's a really good draw. Discard the Kamiwar. So I'm guessing they'll probably hold up Counter Magic this turn, as we're getting to the sort of mana where you can start casting board wipes. Although if they have no flash speed creatures, then maybe they don't. Okay, another Decay's welcome. So do we bother just depopulating both of these? I think we do. And then next turn we can potentially go Eternal Schema. This deck, if it's similar to the version that I run, they might have Protect the Negotiators and Make Disappear as their counter spells. And by depopulating this turn, we can then play Zur next turn and play around both of them. Because if they, for example, if they play Protect the Negotiators now, kicked, they only have 2 creatures and we can pay for it. They could Make Disappear and sack their Recruitment Officer, but I think that's fine if they want to do that. Then their board is still nice and clear. So I guess they're thinking about it. And I think instead of playing the companion out now, we hold up Zur's ability to potentially turn this into a 6/6. So it does make me feel like they have Make Disappear here, because if they had Protect the Negotiators, they can't counter it. Okay, sure. Let's animate the Binding. They probably don't have many great ways to deal with it once it's on the board. So... okay, an attack with these. They might have Wandering Emperor, I guess, but... okay, Iganjo. Okay, sure, well let's... grab a... let's turn another creature, animate another creature while we can. Okay, and a Soul Partition. Okay. Sure. I think we just recast this. Okay. So tricky decision, because if their last card is not a creature, actually, and what was the decision when they thought for a long time? It was when we were casting the Zur, so it can't have been Soul Partition, because they wouldn't have been able to cast that. We didn't have any permanents out yet, or did we? We already had... okay, so basically I'm trying to figure out if the last card in hand is a creature or not, because if it isn't, we take the recruitment officer here, and then they don't have any way of drawing from these two. Yeah, I think we have to do that. Because otherwise they can just use this recruitment officer's ability to grab a creature and play it, and then they're essentially drawing 2 cards anyway. So they did have a creature, so they do get to draw 2 now, or even draw 3 with the recruitment officer's ability. So this is annoying. They are getting back into this. But we're close to herd migration, which should be quite hard to deal with, for them to deal with if they don't have counter magic. Okay, Harbin, that's fine. Another land. Okay, well let's try attacking. So whatever the card is, it's holding priority, so maybe that is a make disappear. If it is, it probably comes out now, maybe. Okay. Still no. We've got all the colours. Let me just take another planes here. Although, maybe we do want to binding the recruitment officer before they can draw with it. Is it gonna... I've passed priority already, so unless they do something, I won't get a chance to Leyline Binding this recruitment officer. Okay. Alright. That's actually great. That's perfect for us. So now, unless they top deck a creature, they can't draw anything this turn. Okay. It is a creature, okay. Another Harbin though. So I think we just try and resolve herd migration now. Another Decage's Welcome, alright. Let's start by attacking with the 2/2. We don't have enough mana to play the herd migration, sack the Bitter Reunion and attack with them all this turn. Did they draw a counter spell? Nope. So the race is on. Okay, that's going to draw them 3 cards. It's going to be close. They do attack, wow, okay. We can give something trample with the Weatherseed Treaty, and then attack with all, and it might be enough to kill them. I'm going to draw 3 more cards though. So what do we give trample? Does it matter? Another Sky Strike officer, okay. Sure, let's give... I'm not sure it matters too much. So I can't be bothered to do the maths, so I'm just going to attack with everything. I mean, if we don't kill them, then we have to depopulate next turn anyway, because otherwise they kill us. So there's, I don't think there's any play here worth doing other than just attacking with everything. I guess we could have cycled this first. Okay. Well, let's cycle it now. Maybe get a binding or something. Okay. Okay. So it's going to be really tricky for us to get back into because I mean, they've got a completely full hand. It might be hard for us to finish them off. Whereas they can basically just draw infinite cards from this point onwards. Yeah, I'm honestly not sure how we can win this. With those 3 Takaja's welcomes, they're just gonna... Doesn't matter if we keep removing whatever they play, they're just gonna draw way too many cards for us to keep up with. Okay. I'm going to draw some more cards as if they really need it. Draw another one. They go to 1. Okay. Hold this to a cycle next turn. I don't know how we do that last 1 point of damage though. Is there any way of just dealing damage to face in the deck? I don't think so. The 4th Decade is welcome. Wow, so I think our best bet here is probably just them milling out because they draw too many cards. Although that's probably not going to happen, is it? Yeah, I think this is over, but let's play it out anyway. Maybe we play an Etali and hit a farewell from their deck or something and can exile all these, but even that, I mean, they've just got too many cards. We can't compete with this many cards. So I guess they've got some... Yeah, okay. I mean, if we draw into another herd migration, and then next turn we play it and attack with 5 hasty 3/3s. Okay, make disappear. I guess that's our only out. Is next turn if we draw another Bitter Reunion, cast it, discard the mountain, draw into an untapped land and a herd migration. No, we still don't have enough mana to crack the Bitter Reunion, so even that wouldn't be good enough. If we draw a Depopulate, we could wipe the board and then survive maybe one more turn, but they probably have some more flash creatures, Resolute Reinforcements or Zephyr Sentinel here. So even if we wipe the board, they can just probably deploy 4 powers worth of creatures to kill us the turn after anyway. So I think we're probably drawing dead here. But hey, let's play it out. Let's see as much of their deck as possible. They're in Soul Partition. And the only counterspell we've seen so far is Make Disappear. Fading Hope, okay. Okay. So, I think the temporary lockdowns are great here. They have a bunch of 2-mana creatures and tokens and stuff. The Lithomantic Barrages seem good. Can't be countered. And I think that's it. I think that's all we want to bring in. So, get rid of some of the spot removal, the expensive spot removal, which isn't that good against them. Maybe go down 1 Depopulate because we brought in the 2 lockdowns. Go down 1 Spirit Sisters Call. And 1 Binding. Well, the Binding is just so good. It deals with the Decay's Welcomed, whereas the Lithomantic Barrage doesn't. 1 more cut. Let's get rid of 1 Etali, because we're probably not going to hit anything super impactful from their deck with the Etali, because their deck is so synergistic. So if we get 1 soldier on its own, it doesn't really do anything. And a 7/7 blocker isn't even that great against them because they have so many flyers and they can go so wide. Alright, well this is a almost a good hand, but I mean, no, we have to mull that. Okay, and a 1 lander. Gonna have to mull this. Okay, well, pretty decent. We've got the temporary lockdown. We've got a redraw with the Spirited Companion. Multi 5 is never ideal, but that's probably about as much as we can ask for. Binding is good. Harbin, okay. So I think we hold up Binding for the Decay's Welcome if they play it. Take 3. There it is. Okay, Weatherseed Treaty is a pretty good draw. So we're still missing blue, right? Yeah. Shadow Prophecy would be ideal now to be able to fill the graveyard with some stuff. Spirit Sisters Call doesn't really do anything without a graveyard with things in. Okay, let's start off by attacking, see what happens. If they flash something in and kill the Spirit Companion, we could play the Spirited Sisters Call, sack the token and get the Companion back to draw a card. They don't, so I think we just get rid of this. They might have Zephyr Sentinel though to return it to hand. Destroy Evil, okay. Now Zephyr Sentinel, yeah, okay, nice. Good play by opponent. I actually love this sort of slightly more grindy, hard to play around soldiers as opposed to just like the all-out aggro version with Thalia. This is one of my favourite decks in best of 3 at the moment. Actually, it's sort of blue-white with that. I run a different version. I don't have Soul Partition, but I do have Decay's Welcome and lots of counter spells. And it's so good, it's so tricky. You just leave mana open, and then if they don't play anything you want to counter, you can just flash in like Resolute Reinforcements or Zephyr Sentinel, and if they do, you can counter it, obviously. So we kind of want the Spirited Companion in the graveyard, so I think we attack with both here and see if they block it, if we're going to temporary lockdown. Okay. Okay. Okay, well I think we can temporary lockdown next turn. I think right now we have to deal with the Decager's Welcome. Stop them drawing into more cards. If they have a counter for the temporary lockdown, I think we just lose, but... Well, no, because we can always sacrifice the Spirit-Assisted Call and grab back the countered lockdown. Okay, it resolves. They might have a Destroy Evil or something, though. Do we want to sack the Spirit Sister's Call to draw a card and then we can play another one next turn? Sure. If they flash in something like Resolute Reinforcements, we might also need this to chump block. Because they can, I mean, they can boost them both with the Fortified Beachhead to make them 2/2s. So we are getting dangerously low on life here. With an untapped land, we can cast the Etali, but it's not great against them, is it? Sky Strike Officer, okay. So they don't have the mana to pump the team anymore. Okay, untapped land. Let's go. See if they've got a counterspell. They don't. Kamiwar, great. Zephyr Sentinel is also great. Okay, exile their Sky Strike Officer. They can draw a card. Don't think we can afford to attack here. Our life total's just too low. We need all the blockers that we can get. Recruitment Officer, okay. Another Harbin. Let's just kill the token, make them discard whatever this last card in their hand is. It was another Resolute Reinforcements, okay. Okay, well I think we have to start applying pressure. So let's attack. Wow, they concede. I feel like there were quite a few top decks that could get them out of that. Huh. Okay, sure. Well, I think we just run it back. Decks seem to work quite well there. Okay, hand's not great, but it's decent. At least we've got the right lands for casting everything in our hand. Okay, not anymore. We do need an island for the Zur. But we've got quite a few draws to get there. Got some bindings. There's... Okay, great, there's the blue. Another doggo. It's always welcome. Okay, so the hand's looking pretty strong now. As long as they don't have too fast of a start. Okay. Happy trading here. Slow them down as much as possible. Depopulate's good. Alright, let's get the blue out. And we could hold binding up. Or I think we just play another dog. We really need to make sure we hit all our land drops to get out the Spirit Sisters Call on turn 5. Great. Do they have a flashy creature? They do. Probably return the Resolute Reinforcements and then they can recast it. Okay, Weatherseed Treaty, that's an interesting draw. Is it too slow though? If we Weatherseed Treaty and they flash in Resolute Reinforcements, then like play a Lord next turn, we're going to go really low. So maybe it's safer to just hold up the bindings. Hold up the bindings, then next turn play Zur and animate one of them. Get a 6/6 with lifelinker out. Seems good. Sure. Okay. It's fine. They are going to attack with everything. Okay, let's try binding the Zephyr Sentinel, see if that works. Okay, let's try and kill this. We managed to. Okay. Do we want a binding the token? Having a binding like with nothing underneath it is always useful for sacking Spirit Sisters Call. It's also a nice choice to reanimate with the Zur because we don't care if it dies. And now Protect the Negotiators is no longer good enough to counter this, whereas it would have been with that token. If they have Mate disappear, they have to sack the frontliner, obviously. Okay, they do. Okay, that's fine. We hold up Herd Migration, grab another land next turn. Another white, always need more white. Another Zur. Okay, let's go for it. Resolves. Let's try and start beating them down with a 6/6 lifelinker. A really nice synergy in this deck is then giving one of these 6/6 Death Touch lifelinkers trample, because then even if if they block it with like a 6/6 or whatever, you only, because of Death Touch and Trample, you only have to deal 1 point of damage to the 6/6, and the other 5 gets through, and their big 6/6 still dies. So it's pretty cool for finishing them off, this combo of Weatherseed Treaty on one of these. Okay, so they pass back. Well, let's try reanimating the other one. It's not looking good for them here. And I guess play this out. Sure, let's grab a land. We could start on chapter 2 and go for lethal next turn, but I think we're in the driver's seat here, and I think it's fine to just play it nice and slow in case they do have a board wipe or something. This then allows us to create a creature token next turn to then be able to sack the Spirit Sister's Call to grab like the Zerback or whatever. So if they block this, 6, 7. I mean, let's start off. Okay, that's enough. So good game, really close games there. I really like this deck, like I said. It's very tricksy and hard to beat, but we just about got there. Yeah, that was fun. Good game. Alright, we're on the play. Hand's pretty good. Missing blue, but we can grab that with the Herd Migration. And then maybe Bitter Reunion the Kami War. Sure. Perfect draw here, so we can Herd Migration turn 2 into Shadow Prophecy turn 3. Evolved Sleeper, that's fine. Okay, they're going to evolve their Evolved Sleeper. Swinging for 2, I guess. Liliana, okay. So I guess we play Shadow Prophecy first, so we can better decide what we need to discard. We need lands, really. Weatherseed Treaty is good, helps us get a land. And one of the tap lands. Let's take a Spara's Headquarters.
I'm tired of your secrets.
We can discard Kami War, I guess. It's going to be a while before we can actually cast it, and we can always reanimate it with a Spirit Sister's Call. Okay, so we've got red, 1 red, 2 green, 2 white, black, blue. I guess another red if we want to be able to hard cast Etali at some point. We do need a way for dealing with Liliana. Either a Spirit Sister's Call to bring back the Kami's War, or a Leyline Binding. Get rid of one of the Depopulates. Okay, they're going to keep leveling up their Sleeper. Okay, well I think let's play the Zur. Animate the Weatherseed Treaty and then attack Liliana of the Veil with it. Looks like they might have some removal here, but they can't remove this. They have to first kill the Zur to get rid of the Hexproof, and only then they can kill this, so we ensure that we get an attack here on Lily. Okay. I think we have to get rid of these here and stop the Lily from ultimating. Next turn this will flip, give the token +5/+5 and trample, so unless they have more removal for that, then we can finish off the Lily. Sheldred. Okay, wow. Sure. So now easy depopulate. Well, maybe we're getting a point of damage. Maybe they're scared of a Iganjo here. Okay, getting 1 point of damage. Depopulate, and then I guess ditch one of these bitter reunions. Hopefully get a untapped land. Great, so we can herd migration next turn. Oh, we haven't even played a land this turn yet. Okay, so next turn we can actually herd migration and give them all haste if we want. Let's see what their last card is. Okay, good, so we can get on the offensive here. And I can't really see them getting back from this. They might have Gix's command, but actually that doesn't even do anything because these all have power 3. No. Okay. So pretty good game one. Right, so against mono black. I actually think our deck's already pretty well tuned to mono black. Disdainful Stroke, I guess, can deal with the Sheldreds, but we've got so much spot removal and the sweepers that we're not too scared about a resolved Sheldred. I guess our biggest worry against this deck is probably them just tempoing out, so curving Evolved Sleeper into Tenacious Underdog, into Graveyard Trespasser or something, and just beating us down before we can kind of enact our game plan. Wandering Emperor maybe helps. It can exile the underdog. It can gain us a bit of life. Can create some chump blockers. What would we cut though? You know what? I think the deck's fine. Just gonna run it back as it is. Black obviously runs a ton of spot removal, which isn't great against us because because we don't play many creatures early on. We're more sort of a grindy mid-range deck, and once our engine of sort of Spirit Sisters Call gets going, it's quite hard for them to deal with it with their spot removal, because whatever they kill we can just bring back. Okay, so this hand, it's an incredibly risky keep, but I'm tempted. They're probably going to bring in Duress, and mulliganing against a deck that might Duress you on turn 1 can be brutal. At least we've got the lands to play 2 Spirit Companions, plus we're on the draw, so we've got a bunch of ways to draw the other colours that we're missing. So I think I'm going to keep it, but I'm not particularly happy about that. Okay, well there's green. We're getting there slowly, getting to domain just 1 basic land at a time. Okay. Wow. We're just going to draw into natural domain just by drawing 1-drops. Drawing basics. Another basic. Okay. Pretty happy to trade the Spirit Companion with the Transmogrant here. It's going to be a while before they can cast that because we don't have any, what is it, 4 non-basic lands, so that's going to take ages at this rate before they get this discounted. Okay. That's slightly dangerous, but sure. Let's play another doggo, see what we draw. Okay. So now we're just blue away from having domain, but we can grab blue with the herd migration. Okay. Unless they take the herd migration here. They might take the binding though. Okay, they do take the herd migration, so we can binding the Flesh Gorger. Normally that's quite risky. You know, casting Leyline Binding on something which would come back bigger if they destroy the Leyline Binding, but black doesn't have many ways to destroy Leyline Binding. You know, if we were playing against like Esper or black and white, I'd be a lot more hesitant to binding the Flesh Gorger because they might just destroy the binding and then get a 7/5 back. So thanks to Thoughtseize bug, we just immediately draw the card that they take. Sure. I don't think we need to main phase it though, because we wouldn't have anything to do with the extra mana that we'd get from the discount on binding anyway, so let's just play another planes. And pass back. So what do we binding? Gix. Maybe we have to binding that. Stop them drawing a whole bunch of cards. Tricky decision. Okay. Sure. And I guess chump. It's not looking good though. We need some more impactful cards than what we've drawn so far. Grab a blue. We're getting close to the Etali though. Shadow Prophecy. So, play the island, hold up a green and a white. Oh, we need to tap. We need a black. Hold up a green and a white. Okay. So, how much are we looking to take next turn? 3, 6. They could potentially be dealing 8 if they cast a Sheoldred. We're potentially down to 4 by our next turn. So we need the Zur really to stabilise. So I guess we take the Zur. And the Spirit Sister's Call. And then we can always sack something to grab the Kami War back with the Spirit Sister's Call. Anyway. Oh, I forgot about the 2 life that we're taking from Shadow Prophecy. So actually, we could be down 2 next turn if they... Well, they can't both level this up and play a Sheoldred, I guess, so yeah. But we are very low. Okay, but at least right now we can start stabilising. By playing this. And swinging him for 6 with lifelink. We're dead then to a removal spell. I mean, even if we don't attack, we're dead to a removal spell as well, so... Yeah, so they're going to have one, aren't they, for Zur, so I think this is just a good game. Surely they have a removal spell. It's mono black. Wow. They don't. So we still have a chance. Spirit Sister's Call doesn't really do anything because we don't have anything we want to sack. So I think let's just resolve an Etali. Depopulate. Depopulate doesn't do it because then they just blitz back the underdog. If we'd have attacked first, then maybe the Depopulate might have been worth it. Probably shouldn't have attacked there as well, actually. That was maybe a bit stupid. Well, I guess no, because they're going to play Shieldred, right? So that forces us to sack our Zur. So block here, kill that, and I guess here, 3, no, I think we're just dead, aren't we? Yeah, it doesn't matter what we do, we're dead. Wow, they don't pump the Evolved Sleeper. Children. Okay. That was a weird way of winning. Why didn't they just pump the Evolved Sleeper like this? If we had Wandering Emperor or Herd Migration, then we would have survived. That was a bizarre choice by opponent. Okay. So maybe we do need the Wandering Emperors just to... I mean, that's how they win. That's exactly the situation I described. They just curve out Evolved Sleeper into Underdog into Flesh Gorger and just beat you down. So maybe we do want the Wandering Emperor, exile something, buy us a bit of time. Maybe get rid of this Shadow Prophecy because can't afford to pay the 2 life. And... one Etali, I guess. They have to curve out perfectly, basically, to beat us before we can stabilize. But Mono Black is pretty damn good at curving out perfectly. So, okay, hand seems fine. Herd Migration on 2, Weatherseed Treaty on 3. So we need green and black. Sorry, red and black. Okay, so are they going to curve out perfectly again? Okay, no. No 2-drop. Actually, I think this is what they did last time as well, isn't it? They didn't actually have the underdog on 2. Grab a black. Grab a red. Okay, so we've got Domain. We can't cast Zur though, until we've got a second blue or white. So after we've played the headquarters, we will be able to. Okay, we're going to swing for another 2. Still at 19, quite a healthy life total. Okay, Wandering Emperor, that's interesting. We can't cast it yet, but good draw. Can also exile this guy. Is there any advantage to Shadow Prophecy main phase? We're going to have 1 mana open, so the only thing we'll be able to cast is a Leyline Binding anyway. So maybe we Shadow Prophecy at the point where we would Leyline Binding. Which is, I guess, once they attack. No, you know what? Let's just block. Let's trade for now. and see what they play, because if they play something like a Sheldred, we'd rather Leyline Binding that. Okay, there it is. There's the binding, great. And then next turn we Spirit Sisters Call. We don't have anything to sack yet. So I guess Bitter Reunion would be good to start. Tricky. Or we just binding now, then play the Zur out. We can't animate anything though. Tricky. Okay. So I think, you know what? I think let's just take the land. Let this resolve. Leyline Binding it. And then I think we just main phase the Wandering Emperor and get rid of the Sleeper before they can draw any cards with it. They might be able to like blitz an underdog or something, but if they want to blitz the underdog and attack the Emperor with it, that's fine. That's their whole turn to not have much of an impact. Okay, that's going to make us sack Wandering Emperor. Kami War is a good draw. Sure. Get rid of their Sheldred. Play a land. So it looks like we're stabilised quite well here. One more non-basic land and they can cast this for 2. Okay. If that's their whole turn, then we're pretty happy. Sure, let's just return it back to hand. And get the Zur out. And start beating them. So it's looking pretty good here. There we go. Okay, good game. So, struggled in game 2 there. They tempoed out really well, but game 3 wasn't even close, to be honest. They never got us particularly low before we were able to stabilise. So, good game. Alright, so back for a little recap. As you saw, the deck is powerful. Played 3, won 3. And you can see here that over a sample size of around 70 matches, it has a win rate of 77% for me, so extremely high. And I think this sample size is big enough to say the deck is competitive. There aren't really any matchups where I feel massively unfavoured, except maybe humans. Mono-white humans is difficult because they're just too fast, and we have a lot of sort of 1-for-1 removal, which doesn't help when they have a super wide board. But for example, against control, so white, blue, black, and white, blue, we're actually 10-0. Well, I guess one of these white, blue is the soldiers that we just played in this video, but so I think the rest are control, so like 9-0 against control. So definitely very strong, and that makes up a lot of the current meta. And then it's kind of 50-50 against the black-based sort of remove everything and then resolve a Sheldred, either Dimir or Rakdos. So kind of 50-50 in that. But yeah, the deck is super competitive, and it does feel pretty much on the same level as the current top tier meta decks, at least for me. Maybe that's only because there's not many other graveyard strategies in the meta, so people don't have loads of graveyard hate. Maybe if more people were playing this deck or other graveyard strategies, we'd see people putting much more graveyard hate in their sideboard, and then it wouldn't do so well. But in the current meta, it is a very strong deck. So if you are looking for something a bit different to play, and you still want to win games, I can recommend this deck. It's a lot of fun, it's something a bit different, and it's also very competitive. So yeah, give it a go. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.